People, what's going on? I'm back. Ron Brooks, enjoying a lot of the questions that you guys are sending me here on the Wisdom app. So definitely continue to send me questions. I love to answer those. I'm going through. I've got a slew of them, and I'm going through and answering those. And some of them are really good and really intriguing, and in some cases even thought provoking. So I definitely love that. So continue to do that. Tap into my bio if you see that I resonate with you and you believe that in our connection we can add value to each other bidirectionally. I love nothing other than to follow each other and connect on the other various social media channels. And also with things that we'll be doing here on Wisdom, we're going to be bringing some different content, some different rooms here. And I want you to be able to engage with me as I want to be able to do that with you. All in the effort of connecting. All of us have various endeavors and things that are going on, and you just never know where opportunities, right, may lie. So let's definitely look into that. Definitely, for sure. So just real quick, I want to get into this subject, and I want to share a little bit about myself. For those of you that aren't familiar with me, my name is Ron Brooks. I am the president CEO of River City Capital here in Memphis, Tennessee, where we have a mission as a nonprofit CDFI, or community development financial institution. We have a mission of providing low-cost capital and technical assistance for small businesses led by small business owners here in Memphis that reside and support disinvested areas of our community here in Memphis, Tennessee. So that's why we exist. I have been a part of the organization leading the helm, and I'm grateful for that and find joy in working with our team that is really dedicated in progressing our mission. I'm also a podcaster. I host the Minding Your Business podcast, entrepreneurship, real estate, trending news. There's no business like minding your own. And so that I have been doing that since 2017 and continue to record great episodes. I've actually recorded some episodes right here on Wisdom, which I love. And Wisdom's a great platform for doing that. And so I really greatly love the opportunity to record episodes, and I've had some really dynamic conversations by opening up a room here and having great back and forth dialogue and interaction in the chat feature, which we have here now on Breakout. And so definitely reach out to me on the chat. I'd love to be able to connect with you. For those that come in the room or you listen to this on the replay, shout out to you. Definitely connect with me, and hopefully you find value in today's topic. So I've kind of shared with you kind of who I am. And again, being here in Memphis, Tennessee, got family here, my great wife of over 15 years, and our three daughters, preteen daughters now, that we're all here and we enjoy our time here in Memphis, Tennessee. All right, so let's get to the subject and the matter at hand. Definitely share this as you go out to your various endeavors and networks. So hopefully this can help people, particularly those in the business realm, or you're thinking about getting into business, or you've got a recent startup. Wherever you are in your walk, I hope that this serves and provides you some great value as you look to kind of navigate. And navigate's actually going to be one of the key words in answering this question. What's the one thing that you need, right, to get your startup launched, right? Like, what's that one thing, when you think about you're launching a startup, no matter what industry, no matter where you're coming from to get to this very point, right? Personally and professionally, thinking about what's that kind of one thing that you need to get started. Here's the analogy that I'll give you. Okay. The analogy that I'll give you is this. Anytime that you're going someplace that you've never been, right? Think about in today's society, right? You're going someplace that you've never been. What's the first thing that you do? You guessed it. The first thing that you do is you pull out your device, typically your phone, your tablet, but for most people it's their phone. And you type in the address, you type in the destination, right, into one of the many maps apps, right? Whether you have, depending on your device, Android, iPhone, that sort of thing, Apple. If you're using Google Maps, if you're using Apple Maps, if you're using one of the other map apps, You're typing in the address, and then what that map does is obviously it's going into its algorithm. It's going into the satellite access and whatnot to connect where you are today to where you want to end up, and it provides you data points, right? One, it provides you kind of a step-by-step direction, and you have the voice-activated feature, right, with the person that's telling you, here, in 2 miles, turn here, in another mile, make a U-turn. Oh, hey, you've reached your destination, right? And it's also giving you the time frame in which it expects you to arrive at that destination, right? So your phone or your device on the Maps app is giving you all this information. It's telling you exactly and plotting where you are today, but it's not focused on where you are today, right? The app is focused on helping you navigate to get to where you're trying to be. And so I'll tie this into answering this question. What's the one thing that you need to get your startup launched? Is you need a roadmap, going old school, right, from that. But that's what the devices served in the past. Many of you are familiar with this, depending on your age and whatnot. When we didn't have these devices and GPS and all this type of thing, what did people do, right? They stopped at, corner stores, or maybe before they started, they buy a map, right? You buy a paper map and you'd unfold it and you'd look through the different roads and say, okay, if I take, Billy Street to Bob Avenue to I-20 to whatever, right, to Highway 66, whichever route you're going, you're looking for the best route to be able to get to where you're trying to go, which is your ultimate destination, whatever that is, whatever you define for yourself. The same thing happens for your business, right? For your business, you have where you are today, and you want to have a roadmap to get to where you're trying to go. Now, what's that roadmap? What's that GPS for your business? That roadmap or that GPS is commonly referred to as your business plan. Here's what people miss with the business plan, because over the years, particularly over the recent decades, as you've had low interest rates and you've had banks and lenders kind of pop up and they ask for a business plan, often people generate those now as just a check the box, right? The lender asks for the business plan. I go, so I either write it or someone writes it for me, or I use some sort of web-based, cloud-based software to create this business plan. And it comes with all these nice, cute charts and graphs, and it's 80, 90, 100 plus pages. And it's just a lot of stuff, right? And in many cases, people, because they're just checking the boxes, they just turn it in. In many cases, they haven't even read it, right? They haven't read it. They don't really know exactly what it says, especially if they didn't write it themselves or if a software did it for them. So they don't really know, going back to my analogy, they don't know what the destination really is. The reason being is because they just check the box by having a business plan. A business plan is a living document, right? Just like when you have your GPS, that's alive until you reach the destination, right? Because you have it active. So, for example, with your GPS on your phone, if you follow the directions it gives you, right, there's a high likelihood you're going to reach your destination in the time it predicts that you'll reach the destination. Now, what happens when you deviate from the direction that the Maps app gives you, right? So the app tells you to go down Highway 12, but you decide that you're going to go and take a turn on Highway 5. Okay. What does the GPS do? It recalculates your route and finds what it believes or what you've told it to be the best route to still get to the same destination. Now, on the GPS map on your phone, if you change the destination, what does it do? It recalculates. So instead of you if your destination is to get to 123 Main Street, right? And then you change that to say, I want to go to 456 Butler Avenue. What happens? The GPS map adapts, right? At that point, it's living. It's adapting to where you tell it that you're trying to go. Same with your business plan. That's why it's so important to have that roadmap, that guide, which the business plan should serve as, right? That's why that's so important, because On your journey with your startup to get it into an existing business and to be able to scale it up the way that you'd like to be able to do that, you're following the GPS. You're following the roadmap, which is that business plan. That's why it's so important to not just do it as a check the box for a lender, right? Someone or an investor or whoever's going to give, you're looking to get capital from or money from. No, what you want to be able to use the roadmap for, which is your business plan, mainly as a living document to help you navigate to get to the destination you're trying to get to. So with your business, is it a lifestyle business, right, where you want it to supplement your lifestyle? It may be a side hustle that you have now while you're working your W-2 job or your 1099 contractor job, right? And then eventually you want to scale it to a business. There's a pathway to get to what that ultimate destination is. You may want to scale and have the business get to a point where eventually you want to catch the eyes of a larger business and have them buy the business out or have them purchase the business from you. And then you rinse and repeat and go somewhere else, right? So whatever that is, right? Whatever your end destination is, I just want to encourage you that one of the first things you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a roadmap. You have a GPS. You have direction on where you're trying to go. And guess what happens? Just like with your GPS on your phone, when you're trying to get somewhere, you may start going and then you may deviate, or it may tell you to go someplace and that road is closed, right? There's a barrier on that road. You may decide to go around, under, through the barrier, right? But nonetheless, that barrier is there and you have to make a decision, right? And so then you adjust your business plan based on what happens, your endeavors, the action that you take. That's why taking that massive action is so important, right? Because if you set your GPS on your phone to go someplace, right? You want to go to 123 Main Street from where you are, and you don't get into the vehicle or you don't start whatever your mode of transportation to get there is. If you don't do anything, guess what the GPS does? It just sits there. It doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't do anything. That's what happens. That's the beauty of this analogy is you're just like your business plan. If you don't go do anything, you don't take any kind of action, you don't start following and executing on the plan, nothing happens. Right? You put in 123 Main Street in your GPS on your phone, and then you just sit there. Well, what happens is nothing. Nothing happens. The GPS just sits there, and it's waiting on you. It's already plotted out the destination, how long it's going to take to get you there. Right? Matter of fact, the only thing the GPS will do if you just sit there is it'll adjust the time that you're going to arrive at your destination. So if let's just say it's 10 o'clock right now and it says you're going to get there at 10:30, if you just sit there and do nothing, only thing the GPS is going to adjust is you're not going to get there no longer at 10:30. Now you're going to get there at 10:45, 11, 11:30, 12, right? Depending on what? How long you sit there and do nothing, right? That's the beautiful thing of this, right? So the GPS starts working when you start working. So the same thing for your business plan for your business when you're starting up. It's going to work, meaning your business plan, your roadmap, your guide. It's going to work, folks, when you do. And the people that are part of this endeavor, part of your startup business, your partners and whoever else, when action starts being taken, that's what is going to lead to the action of the business plan that's going to drive the endeavors to get you closer to your destination. Also, the reason this analogy is beautiful is with your GPS on your phone, when you're using these map apps, one of the things that happens too is along your journey, right? You get in your, let's just say you're taking a vehicle, right? You're in your car and you start following the instructions that the map app is giving you. You start following the instructions that you've set out on your business plan. And you run into obstacles, you run into barriers, you run into setbacks, right? You get on the expressway and it's jacked up. There's been an accident, right? So now you can recalculate on your GPS a new route. You may have to get off at another exit. So you may start off following the plan, right? Which all of us do, personally and professionally. But then roadblocks hit. Life starts to life, right? Things happen. Every pathway to get to your destination isn't always smooth or easy, right? Like I mentioned earlier, you run into the roadblocks. There's a train. There's an accident. Maybe you're hungry. You need to stop off and get something to eat. You need to refuel, right? Your GPS keeps track of all this. And what does it do? It recalculates based on the actions, again, that you take. So if you stop to eat at a restaurant for an hour, you're not going to reach your destination at the same time as if you had not stopped to eat, right, for that hour. That's the beautiful thing with your business plan. It's not static, right? You don't just write it just to pacify some lender, right, or some mortgage person, whoever it is. That document's for you and your team to help navigate. So it starts off with, just like your GPS starts off by calculating where are you now, and based on the data that they have and the satellite access and all that, what's the best, most efficient way to get you to your destination? Your business plan does the same thing. That's why it asks for your executive summary. That's why it asks for things like, what's your strategic marketing plan? That's why it asks for things like, what is your, kind of strengths, weaknesses, your threats, your opportunities, that SWOT analysis, right? That's why it asks for that, because it's getting a sense of a benchmark or a baseline for where you are today, right? And that's going to help propel you if you take action to get to where you're trying to go. And this all aligns, again, you can apply this personally and professionally. But for the purposes of this right now, we're talking about startup business. So when you're starting up your business, once you determine what it is you want to do, and you've determined that there's a market out there that desires that product or service, not that they need it, right? That's going to be another room, because people don't buy what they need all the time. Think of the psyche of the human being, especially here in America. They don't always buy what they need. They buy what they desire. So once you've determined that for your business, is the business model and is the industry something that people desire, and they desire it to the point that they're going to buy it and hopefully repeat buying it because it solves or mitigates a problem for them. Now you're at this point of what we're talking about right now, which is the business plan. What is that guide? What is that living document that you're going to adjust as you do what? As you take action, right? And taking action doesn't have to be this big grandiose thing that's going to get you 1,000 likes on Instagram, right? Taking action could be simply, hey, we set up what we said we wanted to set up. We reached this, kind of pinnacle point. We were able to get this on board. We were able to get this signed. We were able to get a meeting with this person, that person. We were able to share and learn more about our business pitch, right? Do we have a quick 10-second pitch for people that we meet, whether we're networking or we're coming across? Do we have a longer 30-second pitch, a 1-minute pitch, a 5-minute share, even up to a 10-minute share, right? Do I have those in the tuck ready to go? Have I practiced them? Am I ready that I could be able to share my business? Because keep in mind, everybody, especially when you as a startup, everybody's not going to give you 30 years to tell all your whole story, right? And every place that you're trying to go. You need to be ready with that 10-second, which is about, 27 to 30 words max that you're going to get off in 10 seconds. Okay? You got to be ready for that. But that all comes from understanding where you're going in the first place, right? And that's what you've got to know, that so that you can articulate that to other people. That's what's going to help with your lender. That's what's going to help with your bookkeeper, CPA. That's going to help with when you hire people. That's going to help with working with vendors. That's going to help with working with customers and prospects. That's going to help with your overall philosophy of what your company represents culturally. All that has to be captured in your business plan, and just know that it's going to adjust and adapt as you take action and as you start moving, right? So as you get in the car and you're following that GPS map, In this case, the analogy is your business plan. As things adapt, as the world adapts, interest rates increase. Elon starts doing crazy stuff on Twitter. Kanye starts saying stuff. Kyrie starts saying stuff. Deion Sanders decides. All these things start happening all around you. And those are more kind of at the macro level. And then at a micro level, right? You're balancing family life. You're balancing your own views and endeavors and things that you want to take care of personally, right? You've got all these things going on with you and around you that as you're taking this action, just like when you're driving, right? There's things going on around you. Other cars are trying to get to what? Their destinations, right? There's other things that take place, terrain, weather, all these type of things. They change and adapt, right? One day it's raining like it is here in Memphis right now. Other days it's sunny, it's nice. The next day it might hail. There might be a tornado. There might be whatever takes place. You're navigating that with your business. And so that's why I wanted to share in answering this question. So when you leave me talking right now, right, and you decide, okay, what the hell else what am I going to go do, right? Have a different perspective and a different view of the business plan. It's not just checking the box. Okay, it's not just checking the box. Oh, the banker asked for a business plan, so I'm gonna go get something done and then shoot it over to him. I'm never gonna really read it. I don't really know what's in it. I'm just checking the box for the lender. No. What you want to be able to do is sit down with that, really dig into, who am I? Where am I? Why do I want to solve this issue for people? Is it something that people desire? Right? And why do they desire it? Understand? There's a little bit of psychology that always goes into business because business is mostly predicated by people and process. People and process. All right? That's what it is. People and process. That's what helps drive business. And from people and process comes policy and culture. Okay? So those are the things that have become byproducts of people and process. And so as you develop that, those things that change and evolve. Listen, all of us, depending on when you're listening to this, right? All of us that went through 2020, 2021 with the pandemic, we know all too well having to adapt and adjust, right? And that's an event that took place that may be and hopefully is a once in a lifetime, once in a several generations type endeavor that we've all had to face personally, professionally, individual households, individually, corporately, as a country, as a world, right? So we understand that ability to have to adapt. And so as a part of that, right, and understanding that, we also understand that because the environment adapts, right, you want to have as tight as a plan as possible that has what? Flexibility. So your business plan should have what? A flexibility. It shouldn't be stagnant or stuck on inflation's going to be exactly 3%. We know damn well that ain't the case, right? We know that, right? I mean, am I speaking out of school here? What's going on? Right? Let me know if you're with me now. Okay? Shout out to everybody here in the Wisdom Room. Shout out to Noble Ron. Shout out to Nancy, Wanda, Charlie, Michael, Phoebe, Ronnie, Levy, Ali, Brittany, the Urban Contrarian, Rena, Fred, and even someone, the fake imposter. Okay. But shout out to all of you. Shout out to everybody that's listening to this on the podcast version of it. And shout out to all of you again on Wisdom. But that's what this is about. So that's the one thing that you need, at least in my assessment, as someone that leads a financial institution that's community-based, that's economic development focused, someone that's a former banker, someone that's a podcaster, someone that's a real estate investor, who's on this journey along with all of you to try to see, how can I reach that destination? And then what new destinations do I plot personally and professionally? And those all begin with, what is your roadmap? What is your guide? Right? And in your business plan, what guides you? What's going to motivate you on the days when the terrain changes, when the roads are blocked, when the light gets turned to a four-way stop and people don't know how the hell to treat it, right? When the landscape changes, when things come out of Washington, when things come out of your state legislature, your local politics, supply chain, all these different things, as things evolve and adapt all around you, you get better, you improve, right? Your skill set, your vision improve. You bring on a new partner that changes the game, right? You make a connection that changes the game. It's not all doom and gloom, folks. Success can come in and change things, right? All of a sudden, you have the problem of people have a huge desire for what you do. And now your issue or your math problem that you have to solve is, how do I handle and manage all the demand? Right? Those are things that are real, even for your startup. So as I conclude with this, that's the one thing that you need to get your startup launched that often is missed. We can talk about mindset and all those type of things that are hot buttons right now. And those all are part of the preliminary pieces. But once you decide that you're going to move, just like when you get your GPS on your phone, you don't start your GPS till you've made some sort of commitment that you at least are extremely interested and have a desire to get to another destination. Most people don't just sit and just play on their GPS or on the Maps app, right? They typically pull it out once they determine that there's a destination they want to reach, and they've never been there before. Now, if you've been there before, you still should, in many cases, maybe use the Maps app. But a lot of people, if you've been someplace before and you've been several times, guess what? You typically don't know that because you already have an experience and an awareness of how to get to where you're trying to get to. But for most people in the startup phase, they've never been where they're trying to get to. But you got to know where you're trying to get to even turn on the GPS, right? So that's what the business plan. Where are you trying to get to? You want to be a lifelong business owner? Are you an entrepreneur, meaning you go take the risk, you'll exit the business, and then you're going to go rinse and repeat again? Is this a legacy play for you, for children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, other maybe family members down the line? Whatever that is for you, right? Define that for yourself and then develop the business plan, and let's get to work. All right? Yep, it's time to get to work. So go ahead and do it now. January 1st ain't going to change nothing. All right? Do it now today, right? Go ahead and get started, get your roadmap going, get your GPS going. And that's what I help people with, quite frankly. When you look at it and you look in my bio, I've launched ronbrooks.club as a way to help people become what's called bankable, right? This is one of the ways that you do that. It's time out for getting turned down for capital and all that stuff, getting turned down for grants, getting turned down for loans. It's time out for that. It's time to get you bankable, right? So reach out to me. I'd love to have you be part of the club. I'm launching a new Discord here very soon that you'll see. That's going to give me a great way for us to be able to connect and be able to share information back and forth. For me to share, I come across a lot of grant opportunities that are non-federal. They're not being competed with everybody in the world, right? Like, nothing wrong with grants.gov, but everybody with a beating heart in their chest goes to grants.gov and scours that. But there are many private foundations and associations that may not have huge budgets to advertise when they've got a loan period, a grant period open. However, they do put these things out, and the masses may not always know about it. So I want to share that with you because your next funding source may come from one of those grants. So you need to connect with me. Go to ronbrooks.club. That's where we're solving problems, and hopefully you have a desire to want to get your business to become bankable, such that you can get the funding that you need, right, to be able to leverage that for growth. Right? So that's what it's about. Leverage it for growth so that it becomes another tool in addition to your GPS that helps you get to that destination you're trying to get to. That's what this thing's about, folks. So check me out. Again, go to ronbrooks.club. You can email me if you've got questions, you've got thoughts, you've got insight, whatever you want to share with me. I'm always open to that. If you're on Wisdom, you can message me there, or you can email me, connect, CONNECT, at ronbrooks, RONBROOKS.club. That's how you can connect with me. So email me, connect at ronbrooks.club, or you can go to ronbrooks.club. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to connect with you. Love to learn your story. Love to connect you with folks in my network that I believe, because they've helped me and helped others, I believe will help you as well along your journey and help you have additional guides in addition to your own GPS roadmap that we talked about to get to that destination. So listen, I appreciate everybody that has jumped in, everybody that's listening to this. Shout out to the MYB community with the Minding Your Business podcast. Shout out to Wisdom. Shout out to all of you. I wish you all peace and blessings, personally and professionally, along your journey. And again, I love to be part of your journey. ronbrooks.club. Peace and blessings, folks. Take care.